Last October, my mother-in-law announced she was visiting in 2 days, so I panic cleaned for 6 straight hours. The air purifier in my bedroom corner hummed the whole time, so I figured whatever I sprayed was getting handled. Bleach in the bathroom, ammonia glass cleaner on the mirrors, lemon spray on the counters, pine cleaner on the floors, and 2 sprays of an air freshener called Linen Breeze, which smells like no linen that has ever existed. The apartment smelled incredible, like a hospital inside a candle store. I felt like a responsible human being. Then I looked at the air quality monitor on my desk. The TVOC reading, total volatile organic compounds, was maxed out, not high, maxed. The sensor could not display a bigger number. For context, I once held that same monitor next to a can of open paint, and the reading was lower. I had spent 6 hours and about $40 making my air dramatically worse, and it smelled like success the entire time. Almost everything I sprayed was releasing volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, carbon-based chemicals that evaporate at room temperature and go straight into the air you breathe. The Environmental Protection Agency has measured VOC levels indoors at 2 to 5 times higher than outdoors, and one of the biggest reasons is sitting under your kitchen sink right now. So here are the 5 cleaners doing the most damage and what I switched to after my monitor humiliated me. If you have ever wondered how to improve indoor air quality without buying a single gadget, this is the highest impact place to start. Number 1, chlorine bleach. I want to be precise here because bleach is genuinely useful. It kills nearly everything. The problem is what it does on the way. That sharp swimming pool smell in your bathroom is not the smell of clean. It is a respiratory irritant at a concentration high enough for your nose to file a complaint. And that is bleach behaving well. Mix it with anything containing ammonia, and you create chloramine gas, which can put you in an emergency room. Mix it with anything acidic like vinegar or some lime scale removers, and you release chlorine gas, which was used as a chemical weapon in World War I. People do this by accident constantly because combining 2 cleaners feels like it should give you double the clean. In April of 2020, the CDC reported that poison control calls about cleaners and disinfectants jumped roughly 20%. Well-intentioned people gassing themselves in their bathrooms. Number 2, ammonia glass cleaners, that blue liquid that squeaks when you wipe. Ammonia is a strong respiratory irritant on its own. And if you have asthma, it can trigger symptoms below what most people would consider a strong smell. But the sneakier problem is that ammonia is half of the chloramine equation. Clean a bathroom with bleach, then hit the mirror with ammonia glass cleaner in the same session with the window shut, and you are running a chemistry experiment with your face as the ventilation system, which is roughly what I did in October in a bathroom the size of a closet with the door closed because I did not want the smell spreading to the rest of the apartment. The smell I was protecting my apartment from was, in hindsight, the warning. Number 3, pine and citrus cleaners. This is the one that hurts because these are the ones that smell like virtue. Their scent comes from terpenes, mostly pinene and limonene, the same molecules that make actual forests and actual lemons smell good, harmless on their own. The problem is what they do when they meet ozone, which drifts into your home from outdoor pollution and leaks out of some air purifiers with ionizer functions. Terpenes react with ozone and form new chemicals that were never in the bottle. One of them is formaldehyde, a known human carcinogen. Charles Weschler, a chemist at Rutgers, has documented this reaction for decades. You mop the floor with pine cleaner, ozone drifts through the window, and your floor spends the afternoon quietly manufacturing formaldehyde at ankle height. So the lemon smell in my kitchen and the pine smell on my floors were not just VOCs, they were VOCs with a chemistry hobby. Number 4, aerosol sprays, oven cleaners, degreasers, and those foaming all-purpose sprays. Two problems stacked. First, the ingredients. Many use glycol ethers, particularly one called 2-butoxyethanol, a solvent regulated in workplaces because of what it does to blood and the liver. On a label, it hides behind friendly words like cleaning agent. Second, the delivery. An aerosol shatters the chemical into a fine mist, and a fine mist is exactly the format your lungs are best at collecting. You stand in that cloud breathing while you scrub. There is a study I think about a lot here. In 2018, researchers at the University of Bergen in Norway, led by Øystein Svanes, published 20 years of data following more than 6,000 people. Women who cleaned regularly at home or worked as cleaners showed a decline in lung function the authors compared to a pack-a-day cigarette habit sustained for close to 20 years, not from one product, from the routine. Sprays were among the worst offenders. Okay, pause for a second because I want to make this less about my bathroom and more about yours. At some point today, you are going to walk past the cabinet where you keep this stuff. Open it. Look for three things: bleach, ammonia, and the word fragrance. Count how many bottles carry at least one of the three. When I did this in my own apartment, the count was 9 out of 11. I had essentially built a small, well-organized VOC dispensary under my sink and labeled it cleaning supplies. Which brings me to number 5. And number 5 is the reason that word fragrance matters more than any other word on the label. Anything with synthetic fragrance, scented sprays, plug-in fresheners, and every product with the word breeze on it. Here is the part I genuinely did not know before I started researching this channel. In the United States, companies are not required to tell you what is inside a fragrance. The word is legally protected as a trade secret, and one word can contain dozens of undisclosed chemicals. Ann Steineman, an engineering professor at the University of Washington, analyzed 25 common fragranced products in a 2011 study. On average, each emitted 17 different VOCs. About a quarter of them were classified as toxic or hazardous under at least one federal law, and almost none appeared on the label. The products marketed as green performed about as badly as everything else. So when my Linen Breeze air freshener listed its ingredients as water, quality ingredients, and fragrance, that last word was doing an enormous amount of work, and the scale is bigger than one apartment. In 2018, a team led by Brian McDonald published a study in the journal Science measuring the air over Los Angeles. Consumer products, cleaners, personal care, fragrances now contribute about as much urban VOC pollution as all cars and trucks combined. So what do I use now? For most surfaces, plain dish soap and water. Soap removes the grease and grime that microbes live in, which is most of what cleaning is. For disinfecting, 3% hydrogen peroxide, the cheap brown bottle from the pharmacy, which breaks down into water and oxygen. Vinegar handles glass with one absolute rule: it never goes anywhere near bleach. If you want a shortcut, the EPA runs a certification called Safer Choice, and products carrying that label have had every ingredient reviewed, including the fragrance. And the cheapest upgrade is an open window, because ventilation is the difference between a chemical passing through your home and marinating in it. And that air purifier humming in my corner, I finally checked what was actually inside it. Here is the part nobody tells you. A HEPA filter does nothing for VOCs. HEPA traps particles, but a gas molecule slides straight through it. The only thing that captures VOCs is activated carbon through a process called adsorption, where the gas sticks to the surface of the carbon. My purifier had a carbon layer about as thick as a sheet of paper, which is to say it was mostly decorative. A machine actually built to fight the chemicals under your sink carries pounds of activated carbon, not grams, and gets tested against the AHAMAC -4 standard, which measures gas and odor removal, not the AC -1 particle rating almost every box brags about. That gap, particles versus gases, is the whole reason people who care about how to improve indoor air quality end up quietly disappointed by their purifier. None of this is exotic. My entire cleaning kit costs less than what I used to spend on sprays in 2 months. That part still annoys me a little. Last month, my mother-in-law visited again. I cleaned the whole apartment the day before. Soap, peroxide, vinegar on the mirrors, windows open. The monitor on my desk stayed green the entire time, which had never once happened while I was cleaning. She walked in, looked around, and asked very politely whether I had gotten around to cleaning, because the apartment smelled like nothing. No pine, no lemon, no linen breeze, no VOCs the monitor could even find, just air. And that took me an embarrassingly long time to understand, standing there with my maxed out monitor last October. The cleanest indoor air I have ever measured in my apartment is the air that smells like absolutely nothing at all.